Thank you, Rusty. The Mets won a game? They did. Pete Alonso hit 2 home runs. Francisco Alvarez hit 2 home runs. Brandon Nimmo, Brett Beatty, 6 home runs. Then the game day ops started feeling themselves because they do fireworks after each home run. And after the 6th home run, they put on the message board, "Sorry, we've run out of fireworks."
We did not prepare for this.
It's not quite as bad as running out of hot dogs or buns.
Oh my
goodness!
Yeah.
For those hot dogs, but still very good. And Mets needed a win. By the way, I know you'll be excited about this, Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I'm Adam Gold. This is the Adam Gold Show. That's Victoria, producer of the program. We're on YouTube. Go to YouTube, Adam Gold Show, or 99.9 The Fan. Either way, you'll get to us. And if you do that, you can contribute in the chat box when we get to one-timers later, where you can ask a question about anything. We've gone like 2 days without hurricanes.
I know.
Like,
it's weird.
You guys out there?
It's very strange.
I guess I haven't annoyed Hurricanes fans yet. We'll do that, I'm sure, in good time. But you can contribute to the program in that manner, or make any comments you like about whatever it is you want, and then Victoria will relay them to me, sometimes in that segment. One-timers, sometimes just offline. Just like, hey, by the way, this person says you're a dope, which happens all the time. Anyway, I don't even know what the Milwaukee Brewers won again yesterday.
Why would I find that exciting? Just trying to rub salt in the wound as a Cubs fan over here. Just like
they are 31 games over 500.
Yeah,
31.
Yeah,
they are by record, by performance, the best team in baseball.
It's fantastic.
Couple of very quick things, and then we're going to start because we got big stuff today.
See, look, you even broke our computer system.
What happened?
You're talking about the Brewers.
Why are you talking
trying
about
to make
the
me
Brewers?
upset about my Cubs.
Gold, they don't play here.
Yeah, I didn't even control that. That wasn't just me.
Their double-A team, single-A team, is here in Wilson, right?
I believe so.
Right? Yeah, it goes shouts to the Mudcats. But the Brewers, they're 31 games over 500. They're 26-4 since July 5th. 2 of those losses have come against the Miami Marlins, of all teams. And Memorial Day weekend, after games of Sunday, May 25th, this is no joke, they were 3 games under 500. They are 50-16 since.
Yikes.
Yeah. A wagon. A total wagon. All right, let's go.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started.
That still works.
Let's get it started.
Yeah, that works.
The graphic just doesn't work. I have no idea.
And the camera's off,
That's
too.
what I'm saying. That's why I'm trying to multitask and tech. Yeah.
You're on.
I'm trying to
These
text
cameras don't work. It's okay. People are listening on the radio, and you can still see Victoria's text. Oh, I'm back.
Hi.
We still don't have the screen yet. Anyway, shouts to all of you putting up with whatever's going on here. So, we're going to talk about Carolina, both the Panthers and the Tar Heels. Remember yesterday, Will Brinson joined us. And by the way, on Monday, we will start weekly segments with Will on not just the Panthers, but the broader National Football League. We'll obviously also delve into Panthers specifics with different people or just us over the course of the season. But Will's weekly segments begin on Monday. And we were talking about the range of outcomes for the Panthers this year. I don't know if we have. Do we have Will? We don't have Will's clip ready because you've been like inundated with technical problems now. So yesterday, Will said, and I know when I went on with the guys in Charlotte today, when I go on Mac and Bone, usually Tuesdays, but last couple of weeks Wednesdays, they asked me about my reaction to Will and his range of outcomes. because Will said, anywhere from 5 to 11 wins, and I laughed about the 11. Like, I don't think there is a reasonable outcome where the Panthers win 11 games. Nothing reasonable. I think 10 is kind of far-fetched, but not necessarily unreasonable. And if you want to say that 11 is only one more than 10, therefore, okay, whatever. That's fine. This is the time for optimism, by the way. Then that's fine. Then, then 11 in your book is reasonable. Not mine, but whatever. So David Newton, who covers the Panthers for ESPN.com, they did their ceiling and floor for the Panthers this year. And his range of outcomes was anywhere from 5-12 to 10-7, which is more reasonable for me. And here's what's interesting, and this is where I think Panthers fans should be excited, is that the floor for this team this year, and the floor would not be considered a good year, the floor is last year's record, right? They were 5-12 and rallied to get to 5-12, but that's the floor. So I think they will be better, and this was discussed in his little paragraph about why the floor might be there, why the ceiling might be be there, and here's why they're not going to win 11. Because right now the hope is that the Panthers can get to be a top 20 defense in the NFL. That's the hope. We don't know. There's holes in an inside linebacker. There's holes at safety. Rather than get into a debate over who's good and who's not, definitely a hole at safety, and they have depth issues at cornerback. They do not have a safety net if any of their top defensive players are missing for chunks of time. They have a very thin depth chart on the defensive side of the ball. So that, to me, is why you can't get to 11, because there's no team in the NFL that's going to stay healthy all year long. And the Panthers only have, serious quality on defense at maybe 3 or 4 spots. Maybe. And I'm not sure they have it, more than 2, to be honest. So they're just thin enough defensively. I think they could have a good offense. And by the way, the depth chart, hey, look, we're back home. The depth chart for the game in Houston coming up this weekend looks like the offensive line is maybe going to be okay. Don't know how many of those guys are going to play against the Texans, but the joint practices, I believe, is it today or tomorrow? I know Mike Kay is going to join us from Houston tomorrow. So anyway,
on Friday.
Tomorrow's not Friday. Tomorrow's Thursday.
Wednesday. Yes.
Right. So the joint practice is tomorrow, right?
Right.
In Houston. Why did I think today was Thursday?
You're just trying to speed up the week. You're used to having shorter weeks. So that's probably, you weren't here on
I wasn't
last
here Monday.
Friday.
Yesterday was my Monday.
I know.
And I'm already thinking that today's Thursday.
All right.
Whew. All right. That's a bad sign. So anyway, all of that. I'd be encouraged if I were a Panthers fan that most people believe that the basement for this season is 5 wins. I think they could win 6 or 7 without anything crazy happening.
Yeah.
And I think the offense, again, if the middle of the offensive line is intact, I think the offense could be exceptional. It could be. Forget about stats, because if you're behind a lot, you're going to pile up a lot of stats. But I actually think their offense could be really, really good. And Bryce Young, I'm pretty confident will take another step forward this year. And then at the end of this year, we'll see a contract extension for Bryce. That's what I believe will happen. All right, let me just tease one thing before we move on to what I believe will be the top sports story tonight. Yes, the top sports story tonight. Just in 1 second. First, coming up after this segment that's coming up, I'm going to tell you 5 reasons why I believe North Carolina football, UNC, will be good this year. 5 reasons why I believe UNC will be good. But with all the stuff about North Carolina, we're all excited for Bill Belichick. And the anticipation for the Panthers, who might have a good year. There is nothing more exciting than what's going to happen tonight at 7 o'clock. Here is the intro from the New Heights podcast, the Kelsey brothers, and tonight's special guest.
Our guest today is a singer, songwriter, and producer and director from Nashville, Tennessee. That's bullshit. She is from Reading, Pennsylvania. She is the most awarded artist in the history of the American Music Awards, Billboard Music Awards, and iHeart Radio Music Awards. 14 Grammy Awards, and is the only artist in the history to win Album of the Year 4 times. Last December, she wrapped up the Eras Tour, which spanned 149 shows across 51 cities, 5 continents, and was the most attended tour of all time. I'm still going. Hold on. Her last album, The Torture Poets Department, set a record with 1.76 billion streams globally within the first week alone.
All right.
In the first week?
And as a fan of that guy on the Chiefs, she has 19 wins, 2 AFC titles, and a Super Bowl. 92%ers! Are you ready for it? Making her podcasting debut, the most expensive guest in the history of shows, Taylor Swift!
That intro, Jason. Oh my God.
I've seen this before.
No,
He's
look,
about to
his
black
soul
out. Jason,
has left his
just breathe.
body.
I'm cramping. I'm
breathe.
cramping.
No,
I'm
that was
cramping.
so good. Thank
I've seen this
you.
before.
I tried, Tay.
Thank
I
you
tried.
for screaming for like 47 seconds. That was so nice. That was so
Tay,
sweet.
welcome to New Heights.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on my favorite podcast. As we all know, you guys have a lot of male sports fans that listen to your podcast.
Yeah.
And I think we all know that if there's one thing that male sports fans want to see in their spaces and on their screens, it's more of me.
That was great! I cannot wait for a lot of reasons, and I know somebody else who is eagerly anticipating tonight at 7 o'clock on YouTube. My friend Caroline Darney for the win, Director of Programming and Community Engagement at CavFuture. She is definitely a Swiftie. First of all, are you wearing a Taylor Swift concert T-shirt right now?
It's funny you say that. I actually, first of all, thanks for having me. My favorite topic. And I actually last night did a couple back-to-back podcast episodes, not nearly as viewed or listened to as this one's going to be tonight. But I had the same in honor of the show tonight. I did wear the same one that Jason is wearing in that clip. I do have that same T-shirt from the Eras tour. So not today, but it's happy Taylor Swift on New Heights Day to you, Adam.
Unbelievable. I am fired up for this. I like Taylor Swift. I am not necessarily a Swiftie. But one of the things that she said at the end is part of the reason I am so fascinated by this. Now, I am interested to see the dynamic with her and Jason and Travis, and we're going to talk about this. But what she said at the end is the chef's kiss moment. So aware, this is going to make men lose their minds.
Well, the thing to me that I think is going to be so fascinating is because of her, her rise over the course of whatever decade it's been, decade plus since her first album came out. She's for sure at the pinnacle of her popularity. It's if you just look at the brands that spoofed or did a play on the Life of a Showgirl, the color, the glitter, the orange, whatever it was, like just that impact alone, like the number of views on the Instagram posts that announced her being on it, like all of that stuff, you can point at that. Because of some of that, and we don't have to get into whole Swiftie lore, but 2016 Reputation came out. There was a darker time for her, and she kind of disappeared for a couple years to stay out of the spotlight. And she's come back into it through music primarily, but she's not able to do normal celebrity stuff even. Like, she's a celebrity among the celebrities. And so we haven't seen her. I don't think she's ever done a podcast. Like, that's, and it's she's done fewer interviews. She did the Time Woman of the Year interview, but it's harder. She has to be more protective of her time and her space and like what edits get out and what information is that she can't travel publicly. Like, if she goes to a restaurant and it's shared, then there's people waiting outside to take pictures, which is so weird. And don't do that, people. That's strange. But so I'm fascinated. I don't know how long the episode's going to be. I hope, but I doubt it'll go the full like hour and a half that they usually do with guests. But that being said, I think people are going to be surprised how funny she is and how like she is. Everyone thinks that because she's this incredible songwriter and has, stuff in her discography like the Tortured Poets Department or like Evermore and Folklore, that she's this, reclusive, artsy person that lives in the woods and like, has all these big feelings and talk. And she does have a lot of those things, but she's also very funny and very chill. And again, grain of salt for all of it because I've never met her, would love to, but but I think this is going to be a chance. We've never seen her interact really with a boyfriend. Definitely, we haven't seen her talk to Travis. Because there's no reason we should, but they haven't been able to do a red carpet together because of schedules. They've never been interviewed together at the same time. Like, we've heard them each talk about the other one in various capacities, but we've never seen them together. And so I think it's all very interesting. I love that she chose this podcast to do the album information because she's done it on like, people are like, oh, that's beneath her. Why is she centering her album on a man to go on this podcast? I'm like, first of all, respect the podcast. Thank you. I think we all.
I mean,
but, you have the idea that like she's announced albums on like Instagram Live before, I think. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, it doesn't have to be, she's not going to handwrite a letter on parchment with a quill pen and seal it with wax and send it off to be read like it's her next album and this is how she wants to roll it out. And I love it. It's going to be fun.
Caroline Darney is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show, a Swiftie of the highest order. I don't know if they're like, can you get knighted or anything like that for being a high Swifter? Here's the thing.
Well, I'll probably be like a lower, like one tier lower because I am not quite up on the people that do like the numerology and the math around like, well, she said this one thing one time and that was 267 days ago, which is the same time that she wore that outfit with the orange, which if you calculate it.
Oh no.
Much for me. I can't effort.
When we get into the numerology of it all. But I don't know what New Heights normally does, what kind of numbers they do for a normal show. I know people will be surprised what the threshold is to cross over into like a top 10% podcast nationally. The number is not that high, right? But my guess is that this podcast today will probably do in the millions because of who she is. What do you have any guess as to what that number might be?
Oh gosh, if you told me that it hit, I think it hits. What would that be? 7 figures? I think it hits $1 million easy. Like, I hope that. And I think part of the thing where it actually did follow a similar New Heights rollout. I don't listen to every episode. I like the podcast, but they follow a similar cadence with it. With it's like teasing the guests with the silhouette. And then they do kind of like let people guess for a day or so. And then they have that short clip where they, reveal a bit of the interview. And then usually like they did today, like you played that awesome intro from Jason.
Tremendous.
They do that intro thing. They've had like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Brad Pitt, Adam Sandler, Caitlin Clark. Like, so they've had like big names on there. But like I said, this is, I think one of the Instagram videos from Monday. I can't remember if it was the one where they basically confirmed she was coming on and they did that little like 13-second clip, or if it was the album release one at midnight, past the 1 day like most viewed Instagram reel mark in 15 hours. So there was one, I think Billie Eilish had a her release thing for Hit Me Hard and Soft, her last album, was the one that held the standard for the 24-hour mark, and they passed that in 15. So I hope YouTube's ready. I don't know what ready looks like because Taylor Swift's website is not new to this, and it crashed at 12 a.m. when everyone tried to reload and see what was
right.
What the countdown was for. So I think it's going to hit. If you told me like 15 million, I'd be like, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah,
20. I think the debate is like, is it going to pass the Joe Rogan Elon podcast type thing? And I was like, it might. Like, I don't think you guys can understand how popular she is.
Well, I think people do. And certainly she made football fans angry for no apparent reason other than every time the Chiefs were on television, which is basically every week. I'm talking national television because every game is televised. But every time the Chiefs were on TV and she was there were like 10 to 15, hey, let's see how Taylor Swift reacted to that play. So, and people and football fans who are definitely threatened, they got mad. Look, I don't think I'm saying anything that I know there are people out who are denying it, but those people are the ones who are angry. Like, men were threatened by it.
Silly. It's so silly because, first of all, like, obviously as someone who's worked in sports for several, decade now, sports are not men's, like, just for men. It's not a male space to want to watch football or whatever. And it's they're forcing her down, they're forcing them to see her. Like, it's what? I think they calculated it was under a minute in like a 4-hour broadcast.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't handle that, I don't know what to tell you. Like, she's not asking for it. She's not hamming it up. She's literally just there to support her boyfriend, which seemed lovely. And then he in turn went to the Eras tour. And I was like, show him more. I want to see more reactions. It's cute. Like, I'm in the camp where I'm like, you're not showing her enough. Like, give me more of this. I want to see the full outfit. I want to see who she's sitting with. Like, does she like that catch? Like,
well, I'm looking forward to the podcast tonight at 7:00. Again, I think it's going to do in the millions of numbers in terms of people tuning in. And I do think if you are anti-Taylor Swift about this, then that is you need to look within, because sports is supposed to be fun. Last I checked, it's supposed to be fun. And again, I think it's going to be an absolute. I am fascinated to see how this whole thing looks in terms of the conversations and all of that. I don't think that they're going to talk a lot about zero coverage or hot reads. I don't. All right. I mentioned before we went to bring in Caroline. And by the way, Caroline Darney is all over the place. She's got a big screen sports podcast where they review sports movies. And I know that they're actually doing a live version of that coming up later this summer at the Rialto. Give our guy Hayes Permar a plug for that. When we come back, I got 5 reasons why Bill Belichick and North Carolina football will, not could, will be successful, be good this year. 5 reasons. Next. It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria on the ones and twos. We're going to discuss my top 5 reasons why I believe North Carolina will have a good season in football this upcoming year. We'll do that in a second. But first, let's break something. Multiple reports have all confirmed. The first I saw of it was from the Sports Business Journal. We know Shams Charania of ESPN has also had this. Tom Dundon, owner, Carolina Hurricanes, basically singular owner. I know there's some splintered minority investors, is, according to the Sports Business Journal, part of a group that is buying the Portland Trailblazers in the NBA. Yes. Portland Trailblazers. Now, Sportico has their list of sports franchise values. 5 major sports in the U.S. will throw Major League Soccer in there. And the Trailblazers are the 23rd most valuable NBA franchise. If I'm not mistaken, he tried to buy the Timberwolves a few years ago, and I believe Alex Rodriguez is part owner of that NBA team now. Timberwolves are ranked below the Trailblazers, who are ranked above the Charlotte Hornets.
What?
Yeah.
How is that
Similar media markets. Anyway, so according to multiple reports, Tom Dundon is either, according Sports Business Journal, says he's part of a group that's buying the Trailblazers. The other reporting says he is buying the Trailblazers. I kind of believe the Business Journal. I don't know what the Blazers are going to go for. The current valuation of the franchise, according to Sportico, is $3.6 billion, and more than likely the sale price is north of that. So, I mean, I'm not sure Tom's got money. I have no idea what his overall net worth is, but I don't know that he's in the, $6 to $7 billion range. You generally don't personally spend your net worth.
No, not usually.
On a vanity buy, which all professional sports franchises are vanity buys. But he's tried to get into the NBA before. And remember, Tom has said out loud to us and to others that he is definitely interested in bringing Major League Baseball to the Triangle.
I'm here for it too.
I am as well. I've had that discussion with Tom about it. So it does look like he's about to buy, or part of a group that is going to buy, the Portland Trailblazers. And since I mentioned the list, we're going to get to Tar Heel football in a second. This is from Sportico, which is a really good business of football, which also incorporates law of sports. Great website. The Dallas Cowboys are the number one valued sports franchise at $12.8 billion. The Rams and the Giants come in next at 10.4 and 10.2 billion. 10 of the top 15 franchises are NFL teams. Obviously, the average valuation of an NFL franchise is almost $8 billion. And remember, this is just what if you broke it up and sold it for parts, to use that terminology, this is just what the raw franchise values are. These also become, as I mentioned before, vanity buys. So there's an emotional element to this. So the Yankees are the top Major League Baseball franchise at $8.4 billion. I would argue until I'm dead that if the Yankees were up for sale, that number would be north of 10. All respect to the Cowboys, the Yankees have more history and Americana about them, there would be something way different about owning the New York Yankees than there would be in owning the Dallas Cowboys. And it's not to put down the Cowboys. But, I mean, that is American history, the Yankees. Anyway, with all of that said, the Panthers, who are the 27th most valuable NFL franchise at $5.76 billion, according to Sportico. How long ago did Dave Tellep? Sorry. Shout out to my man Dave Tellep, who works for the San Antonio Spurs. How long ago did David Tepper buy the Panthers? 7 years ago, roughly?
Yeah, roughly.
For $2.3 billion cash? He could almost triple his money.
July of 2018 for $2.2 billion.
Cash.
Mm-hmm.
I just wrote out a personal check for $2.2 billion. Now, he could, if he wanted to, probably flip it for 3 times that right now. He'd get almost $7 billion, I bet, for the Panthers today. Includes I guess it includes Bank of America Stadium and all that. The Hurricanes, by the way, $1.29 billion, 25th most valuable in the NHL, obviously bottom 4th of the league. You know they're ahead of the Florida Panthers, who have won 2 straight Stanley Cups. Yes. Anyway, so congratulations, I guess, to Tom Dundon for purchasing the Portland Trailblazers. All right, now to, real quick, does that mean anything for the Hurricanes? I would say no. I don't think it's not a positive, it's not a negative, it's a net zero. Because Tom has not been the here all the time. Like, he's a hands-on guy. He's going to be a hands-on guy in both places. But we're now about the same amount of time. This is year 8 of the Tom Dundon ownership, full ownership. And they pretty much have it running smoothly. So, Eric Tulsky's now he's grabbing the wheel. All right, now let me get to Bill Belichick here, or to North Carolina football, because I believe there are 5 reasons why UNC will have a good year. And that doesn't mean the critics of the hire will be wrong. I just think they're going to have a really good year 1. Okay? Because so many people, more people than didn't, said that this would not work, this will be a failure. I've always taken an open mind to it, because I think if it works, it's going to work really well. If it doesn't, it's going to be a waste of time and an expensive waste of time. And chances are, long run, the people who are against it are probably right in terms of percentages. Either way. But here are 5 reasons why I believe this team will be good this year. And the first, and these are not in any particular order, the schedule. Schedule's not hard. It's not like a total cakewalk. I don't think the games against TCU or Central Florida are going to be like automatic wins, but they're both Power 4 games. They're both very winnable games. Carolina gets one of them here, right? I think the game is at Central Florida. They go to Orlando. But I mean, I just like their chances to do well against the schedule that they've got. The league schedule is not daunting by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, they could end up 7-5, I guess. That wouldn't be a good year, but I think they'll be better than that, and I'll explain why as we move forward. So the first part, or one of the 5 reasons, is the schedule. Another reason I think they'll be good is I think the pro approach in today's era of college football, where not only are players thinking about playing in the National Football League, but I think we've had enough exposure to how those organizations operate, whether it's through Hard Knocks or just the ever-increasing coverage of professional sports in all aspects, the team websites doing a better job of taking people behind the scenes, that I think today's college player, even if they don't have pro aspirations, this is their pro aspiration. So I think taking a pro approach to everything will give, and I'm not saying that other programs aren't doing it, but by former pros, I think will be an appeal, and I think will give Carolina, in terms of everything, getting them maybe a little bit ahead of some other schools. I think that when you have Bill Belichick as your coach, I think you get automatic buy-in. Automatic. There's no convincing a 19-year-old player or a 23-year-old transfer. There's no convincing them that this coach doesn't know what he's doing. Every player in that locker room knows that they are getting the best level of coaching, instruction that they could get anywhere. And this goes for the best coaches in college. As good as Ryan Day may be, or Steve Sarkisian may be, or Dabo Swinney may be, nobody is getting better instruction on how to get better as a player than North Carolina players are getting from Bill Belichick. And then we get to the two elements that I believe are definite advantages at UNC. Game planning. Again, we are not disparaging any other coach. Famously, Charlie Weiss, who was a longtime offensive coordinator under Bill Belichick, and then went to Notre Dame as the head coach, he told the world that they would have a schematic advantage. Charlie Weiss was very full of Charlie Weiss. Theoretically, he should have been right. As a brilliant offensive mind, as a coach, he should have been right. But I do think that Bill Belichick, without the braggadocious nature of it all, in terms of game planning, he'll be able to know areas that they can exploit on the other team and ways to mask his own team's deficiencies. So I think week in and week out in terms of preparation, Carolina will be a little bit ahead of the game. And then we get to game day. The one thing that I believe all college football fans can recognize is that there are tons of decisions throughout a game where it could go either way. Now, I'm not talking about just a coin toss decision. Well, 50 this way, 50 the other. No. I'm talking about risks that you take, risks that you don't. I think Belichick will lose fewer games than any other coaches in the country. And whether it's from a preparation standpoint, a game planning standpoint, or a game day decision standpoint, I am counting on North Carolina maximizing their win total this year as opposed to minimizing it. We called that the Mario Cristobal. Minimizing your win total, something that the University of Miami has done probably better than anybody over the last several years. And it's not just Miami, it's when he was at Oregon before then. I don't think that'll happen at UNC. 5 reasons why I believe UNC will have a good season. And could they win 10 games? I guess they could. More likely it's an 8-4 season, but I just think that they will get the most out of this season. Ultimately, how good you are in college football comes down to one thing. How good are your players? Talent. That is what we do not know about this team. We don't know how good it is. When we come back, one-timers, you can ask anything you like. You can put that in the chat on the YouTube stream. Go to YouTube, search for Adam Gold Show or 99.9 The Fan. You can ask anything you like. One-timers is next.
Are you ready for it?
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. I'm sure it'll come up. Tom Dundon, owner of the Carolina Hurricanes, now also owner of the Portland Trailblazers. A little bit more than $4 billion in the purchase. He bought it from the estate of the late Paul Allen. Owned the Blazers. Also, Paul Allen also owned the Seattle Seahawks. All right, one-timers.
Okay, so first up, I know you mentioned the YouTube stream, but you can also at me on the Twitter because the first two are coming from Twitter.
Okay.
So, V to the Victoria with some underscores. So first up, from Chuck, what is your favorite Taylor Swift song? Parentheses, Victoria 2.
I don't have a favorite Taylor Swift song. I don't know the titles. I've listened to it, and it's good.
I feel like the last one I play is probably my favorite. I like Look What You Made Me Do. That's a good one. But I'm not a Swiftie, so I don't know them like that.
I'm not a Swiftie either, but I'm also not a hater.
No, yeah. I'm just the gray area where I like, that's a good song.
Yeah, I've listened.
Slaps, like the kids say.
I didn't listen to Tortured Poets, whatever the rest of that title is. I didn't listen to that one, but the album before I listened to, I thought it was good.
Yeah. Well, and I only know a lot of her stuff because I also dabble on the music side. So, and like before sports, I did all music. So I know Tay-Tay real well from that, but I'm not a Swiftie. But I do like her music. So
I would also never call her Tay-Tay.
Oh, yeah. Well, her boyfriend called her Tay-Tay. It must be acceptable.
I am not her boyfriend.
No.
That would be Travis Kelce.
Neither one of us.
Yeah.
No. So, next up, from Justin, with Dundon buying the Trailblazers, what sports franchise would you like to buy? Ooh, I already know mine.
Well, what would I like? I mean, obviously, my first love is the Mets, so it would be that. But I would like to buy at some point a small European soccer club.
Yeah. Like Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Seriously, what they've done, and I know people can complain about the advantages that they've had. I get it. The fact that they have gone from National League, which is non-league football, playing, they're all professional teams in that league. But one rung below, you're starting to dip into semi-pro, really. To get to where they are, and they're like a middle-of-the-pack club in the championship, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
Nice. Well, I would do the Cubbies. I would buy the Cubs if I could. Or UFC. But, I don't have Dana White money. So, next up from Dawn on the YouTube stream. Adam, with Taylor Swift being the go-to concert that so many want to see, who was the one artist you wish you had seen live? So I'm assuming it says had, past tense, so I guess they're dead.
Mike Maniscalco asked me that question one day.
We both love the Foo Fighters, by the way.
I don't.
Dave Grohl.
Nah, I'm not a Dave Grohl guy. I appreciate his respect for the history of music, though. And I don't have anybody that I didn't see that I would like to see. The only thing that would even come close to it would be, like, I never saw the Beatles, right? I mean, kind of understandable. They were done by, 73? So I never saw Zeppelin as a band. But pretty much everybody else that I listened to, I've seen. I would have loved to have seen Sinatra. I saw Tony Bennett, but I didn't see Sinatra. But Sinatra basically was done performing by the time I became a fan of Sinatra. So that would be the only thing that I would like. I wish I had, been aware enough to have seen Sinatra. But Tony Bennett performed until, into his 80s.
Yeah, I know. I know for me it'd be Nirvana. Because I've seen Pantera, but I would like to see Pantera with all the real members. But Nirvana, whoo, that's a big one. Kurt Cobain. Next up, from Sawyer. Let me see. I don't want to jump ahead in case. Okay, let me get this one from Graham from our YouTube stream. So, does Tom Dundon purchasing the Trailblazers affect the Canes in any way? He may have missed when you mentioned that earlier.
I mean, I could tell you no, because I really don't see how it would impact the Canes in a negative way. I think here's what's interesting. It all depends. Well, I don't think it'll impact the Hurricanes negatively. I really don't. But I would say that the two sports, in terms of how they're run, the NBA and the NHL, oh, are they different? Woo-hoo! Those are two different animals entirely. And the biggest adjustment Tom Dundon's going to have as the owner of the Portland Trailblazers is the way they evaluate and put value on players. Man, that ain't going to work in the NBA. It's just not going to work. You'll be shocked at how many players in the NBA get paid way more than they are possibly able to deliver. It's incredible to me. But I think his learning curve is going to be pretty steep in the NBA. But I don't think it'll impact the Hurricanes. And I'll give you one more thing next.
say congratulations on breaking the home run record. Listen, you have worked hard. Hey, what's up, Pete? Darryl Strawberry here. I just want to say congratulations on breaking the home run record. Listen, you have worked hard. You have stood up in the pressure of New York City, and you have played well. It is well deserved. You are a homegrown player. And again, congratulations and continue to have great success. All the best, buddy.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria on the ones and twos. Chip Patterson will join us in 15 minutes.
Because it's a hump day.
It is. It's Chip Patterson Day, which is even better
exactly.
than a hump day.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we talked a little bit about the Panthers at the beginning. I got into Bill Belichick. Going to get back to talking about Bill Belichick with Chip coming up in a little bit. And then we'll get into just some other ACC stuff with him. And I also promised him last week that we would discuss a little bit about the makeup of the U.S. Ryder Cup team. There's so many things. By the way, his friend who does the Cover 3 podcast with him, Danny Canales, will join us tomorrow.
Nice.
Former Florida State star. But this is our second run at the news of the day. And at the time we did it the first time, this wasn't news of the day yet.
No.
So here we go. For a little bit north of $4 billion, Tom Dundon, owner of the Carolina Hurricanes, has purchased that NBA franchise. It's part of a group, according to the first story I saw at Sports Business Journal. So good for him. By the way, I sent Tom Dundon a text, and I said, you can't ditch us for the Pacific Northwest and a different sport. And his response was, never. So
well, there you go.
Yeah.
Pickleball is probably not as good over there.
I don't know. It's everywhere.
Well, yeah,
it's
but
everywhere.
The weather might be better here. I don't know. Maybe.
Really? Are you sure? Are you sure about that?
I mean, it's raining here, but
yeah. Well, it rains more in Oregon than it does in North Carolina. Here's the thing. And I saw Tim Donnelly, our friend who talks football with us sometimes and does the afternoon show after us, talked about how optimistic, if you're a Blazers fan, how optimistic you should be because of the success Dundon has had in the NHL. And I think all Hurricanes fans, to some differing degrees, but all Hurricanes fans look at the time where Dundon became the owner. And boy, what a difference it makes to have an owner who invests in the team. You know, Peter Carmanos, who is wholly responsible for this team being here. And every Hurricanes fan should always, be cognizant of that. Over the last decade or so, Carmanos really stopped investing in the team. And if you stop doing that, if you no longer put the money back into the team and the energy back into the team, unless you are running one of the heritage franchises in your sport, it's just not going to show you any ROI. Dundon understands He worked hard. The organization worked hard right away. And they were, I mean, honestly, when you made the best decision you could ever make in terms of who your head coach was going to be, they hired Rod Brindamore. Obviously, that was going to be a very big deal. And it is, to me, the number one reason why this team became good. And then the continued investment in the players, and changing the way they scout and draft. They have been a model franchise. But I'm going to pump the brakes on an NBA turnaround for Portland, because here's what you need to know. The NBA and the NHL, this is what Tom will find out, drastically different leagues in terms of how the mechanisms, the financial mechanisms work, and the sports are super different. You are not going to teamwork your way to success in the NBA. Ain't gonna happen. No way. NBA basketball is about stars. And I'm not even talking about winning a championship. I am talking about being a good team. It is about stars. You show me an NBA team that makes the playoffs, I am going to show you one or two star-level players. Now, maybe you can sneak into the play-in tournament with just a bunch of grinders. You can do that in hockey. You can be excellent in hockey without star-level players. And when I'm talking about star-level, I'm talking about top 15, top 20 players in the sport. The Hurricanes don't have any of those players. None. As much as we call Sebastian Aho a star, and he is a star to an extent, he's a very good player. Seth Jarvis, same thing. Very good player. Jacob Slavin, we have very good players. A lot of them, but it's how Carolina plays that leads to their success. That is not going to happen in the NBA. You are going to have star power. And the financial system in the NBA, and I'm not talking about the salary cap or anything else, it's just far different. It's far more restrictive. Like, could you see Tom Dundon making a trade for a star player and giving up 4 first-round picks? The Knicks traded, I think, 4 first-round picks from Mikal Bridges to last offseason. Huh? It's never going to happen. So it's going to take some time for him to learn how to do that in the NBA, how to play by the NBA's rules. All right, now what I wanted to talk about Dundon and how it pertains to, we'll call it Raleigh, is because I saw this question posed. How does it impact his desire to bring Major League Baseball to the Triangle? And I will just say it this way. I don't think it impacts his interest in bringing Major League Baseball to the Triangle. My feeling for a long time has been that Major League Baseball is interested in the Triangle, but that we're kind of down the list. So where he's going, by the way, with an NBA team, I think there is interest in another team in the Pacific Northwest. I wouldn't be shocked if Portland ended up on a short list. They no longer have a Major League Baseball ready stadium. Well, they no longer. They never have. They don't have that. Nor does Raleigh, by the way. In either case, a stadium would have to be built. But Portland's a growing city. in a desirable part of the United States, and I could see it there. I don't know that they're ahead of Raleigh, but I could see a Major League Baseball franchise there. But I think Nashville's ahead, and Oakland is going to get another team. It's a market that definitely wants baseball. It's a city, the second city in that market that definitely wants baseball and has a culture for it. So Oakland's going to get a team. And to me, I already mentioned Nashville. And there are other cities in whether it's Texas or Florida that might have an inside track with bigger population, stadiums in areas where you can easily build stadiums that I think will probably be at least right with Raleigh in terms of interest. And then you have to think, will Major League Baseball do another international team? Will they put another team in Canada, whether it's Montreal or Vancouver? Will they put a team in Mexico? Will you try to go to an island? Will you try to put a team in Puerto Rico? I don't know. But I'm not sure Major League Baseball is as interested in Raleigh as maybe Tom Dundon. And Raleigh is as interested in them. I don't think it'll be an expansion team. If Raleigh gets a team, I think it'll be a reload. I think it'll be a relocation. Anyway, so the answer to the question is, will it impact that? I don't think it impacts Tom and his interest, but I think it might be telling us that Major League Baseball might not be as interested in us as this area would be in them.
Boo.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
But good for Tom Dundon, and it's also a team that's red and black,
It's fitting.
so he can wear the same stuff.
Yeah.
I actually just thought of that.
We just have all kinds of red and
I'm
black
going
here.
to bring that to his attention now.
Uh-huh.
All right, when we come back, Chip Patterson's going to join us. I gave you 5 reasons I thought that North Carolina would be good this year. I will run those 5 reasons past Chip, and he can poke holes in them next.
You got that daydream look in your eye, and I got that red lip classic thing that you like. And when we go crashing down, we come back every time. 'Cause we never go out of style. We never go out of style. You got
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria's on the ones and twos. 7 o'clock tonight. Taylor Swift on the New Heights podcast.
I know. Hopefully, Jason Kelsey's caught his breath since the
intro.
the intro.
Well, the podcast's already done.
yeah,
right? So
please, breathing normal.
They will just spit it out on YouTube tonight at 7 o'clock, and then it will be available, I guess, the next day wherever you get your New Heights podcasts. Similar to what we do with the Canes Corner podcast, which, by the way, I owe people a new episode of that, and I am efforting something cool for next week. Don't think I'll get to one before the end of this week, but I believe next week. They've been about 2 weeks or so in between the last month or so, but we will definitely get to that next week. Anyway, during the season, we do a live podcast after every game. And it's really later on in the evening is when the podcast is put together to be distributed in normal podcast fashion. But, over the course of the year, we get a lot of people joining live. That's getting bigger and bigger, really, every time we do it. Now, we're coming up on, I believe, the 4th year of doing it. Not 4th year. 3rd year, I think, of doing it live, which may or may not have been a good decision on my part because I do it.
Well, you never know if you'll get an Earl appearance or a Harriet appearance sometimes.
Oh, yeah, when we do them at home.
Yes.
Yeah. Every once in a while.
I'm here for it.
Every once in a while. Yeah, it is every once in a while it's a little different. All right. Chip Patterson's going to join us at some point, but I want to get into a couple of the football things that we have been discussing. The first thing, let me bring up the Panthers real quick. And yesterday on the show with Will Brinson, he mentioned the range for the Panthers being anywhere from 5 to 11 wins. My reaction to 11 was, that's great. What? 11? I think 11 is a little bit outside of the range of reality. I mean, theoretically, the range is 0 to 17 in terms of number of wins. And if I said, well, yeah, they could win 17. The response to that is, no, they can't. They ain't winning 17 games because they ain't that good. Well, I kind of feel the same way about 11. I do think that while I don't expect them to win 10 times, realistically speaking, to me, that's the ceiling. And what was interesting is that David Newton of ESPN, who covers the Panthers for ESPN, he put out his floor and his ceiling, and for him, it was the floor was 5-12, the ceiling was 10-7, which is similar to what I think. And for my money, I think they're probably a 7 or 8 win team. That's what I think the Panthers are. Okay? I think they're a 7 or 8 win team. So if you're an 8 win team, maybe you can get to 9. If you can get to 9, maybe you can get to 10. I think 11 is a little bit of a stretch. But what was interesting to me is that Newton put the floor at 5-12. And I'm not saying that David Newton is always right in predictions or his feeling about the team or not. That is not the point. I think universally around the league, people think that a 5 or 6 win season. I think that the over-under in Vegas is 6.5 wins. So 6 or 7 is where Vegas probably thinks this team is going to be. Again, don't use Vegas as a see. That's exactly what everybody thinks. Because remember, they're just trying to get people to bet the same way on both sides. But in this case, it's a fairly good gauge of the type of a team that a lot of people think the Panthers are. And if your floor is 5-12, that was their record last year. And I find that, even though it might not be happening as fast as Panthers fans want, I kind of feel like that's a positive step forward. And I think in the write-up about this, he talked about the defense. Hopefully the defense can be a top 20 defense. Whew. That's not great. But when you have a historically bad defense, as the Panthers had last year, and when you are as bad against the run as the Panthers were last year, and I would argue that if you were going to be bad against one thing, the run or the pass, I would much rather be bad against the pass than the run. If you can't stop the run, you cannot win. No chance. No chance if you can't stop the run. And that was the worst part of the Panthers' defense a year ago. They could not stop the run. So the Panthers need to get better there. If they can get better against the run and get into a top 20 defensive position, then they can maximize their season. I think the offense is going to be really good. I think the offense will be very, very good. Bryce, the wide receivers, the running back room. Man, I looked at the depth chart that they're taking to Houston, and in a positive note, looks like they seem to be at least healthy enough in the interior of the offensive line. Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt were both listed number 1 on that depth chart. Doesn't mean they're going to feature in the joint practice tomorrow or in the game this weekend, but the fact that they're still on that depth chart is a positive sign. Austin Corbett is the center. Cade Mays will likely be in the mix extensively at the guard spots throughout these practices and the game, and hopefully they'll have a good, healthy start to the season. The offensive line is healthy. I think their offense is going to pile up a lot of points. I really do. All right, before we bring in Chip Patterson, let me fold into the North Carolina stuff today. And I was thinking about this yesterday in the latter stages of the program, because while we have talked about attention for this North Carolina team, we haven't really talked about how good a team we think it could be. And I think there are 5 reasons why Carolina will be good this year. Now, we can all debate what good means. And for the sake of this conversation, I'm going to say have a good record. And we'll get into those with my friend Chip Patterson, CBSSports.com, Cover 3 podcast, who joins us on the Adam Gold Show. First of all, hope you're well, my friend.
Good team and good record are very, very different conversations. And I think important ones to have at this time, as we've been talking about this, 3 weeks since kickoff at this point?
Exactly.
Yeah. So because now is the time when I'm doing the Chipalytics on a 1 through 136. When I'm doing the conference previews,
right,
you're just looking at each conference against each other, and you get an idea of what the different tiers are in each of these leagues. There's no Mississippi State in the Big 12, but that doesn't mean the Big 12 is better than the SEC. But you start to see these outliers and establish these tiers, because there are a lot of teams that, for example, might have even been ranked in the preseason top 25,
right,
that because of their record are going to finish 6-6. But then there's teams that didn't get a single top 25 vote that are probably going to finish 8-4, 9-3. So which one is a good team? Which one is the good season? And I feel like those things are very, very different conversations.
And you and I talked about this last week, that when you do preseason rankings, you do it based on talent.
Correct.
And you're not predicting what these teams will do over the course of the season. I did find it interesting and telling that Indiana was in the top 20 of both the coaches and the media polls, and I'm like, are they going to do this again? Take a really uninspiring schedule and go 11-1 with it? But I don't know.
I don't know about 11-1, but they could. We're not going to fight. We cannot. It's August 13th. We can't fight about Indiana. We got to at least wait until September.
We'll do that. I'm sure we'll have that conversation. Hey, we could be having that conversation about North Carolina. Although North Carolina's schedule is 47 times more ambitious this year than Indiana's was last year or this year. But let me just give you. I have 5 reasons why I think North Carolina will be good. And again, my definition of good is what the record says. So 1, the schedule. And again, I'm not saying that it's easy. I don't know that TCU will be easy in the opener. I don't know that the trip to Orlando to play Central Florida is easy. I don't think either of those are easy games. But we've all been through Carolina's schedule. It's a relatively it's very soft conference schedule, and I think it's a manageable non-conference schedule. So the schedule, I think the fact that it is basically a pro coaching staff that has approached the training and everything in a professional manner, which I believe appeals to players. I think there's automatic buy-in that you get with Bill Belichick that you don't necessarily get even with the most successful college coaches, because all of these guys know that Bill, I would say no, they think, which means that in their minds they know that Bill can get the best out of them individually as players. I also think that there is a game plan that Belichick will be able to bring to, accentuate what they do well, attack what other teams' weaknesses are. And then there's the game day coaching, and I've been very quick through this. We can spend all day talking about, breaking down each category. But I think those 5 reasons lead me to believe that we're going to get the most out of the North Carolina, schedule. I could see them winning 9 games against this schedule if these things prove to be correct. No?
I did not say this as like a pick. I'm not saying that I think this will happen, but there's going to be an ACC preview that runs on CBSSports.com between now and the start of the season, where we were asked to make bold predictions.
Right.
And the competition for bold prediction means you cannot come lukewarm. I mean, you need to, just the internal competition of everyone who's writing. You will get laughed at if your bold prediction is not bold, but you need to believe it, right? You got to write a couple sentences to back it up. I could see Bill Belichick winning ACC Coach of the Year. I could see North Carolina being able to finish with a record that is going to make them one of the stories of the season. And part of that, yes, is indeed the schedule, but it's also a little bit of, trusting in this actually coming together. I've really enjoyed a lot of the state-run media, sure, but the content that the North Carolina football operation is putting out. You want to talk about where some of the investment is that's beyond the coaching salary, as we've heard and seen that the overall investment in everything top to bottom is changing over there when it comes to football. Yeah. When they have a really good, full, 28-minute sort of Hard Knock style piece of content that they're putting out, I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll check it out. This is well done. And you are reminded that this guy is just a football nerd, that he really needed to be on the practice field. His own son, Steve Belichick, I think said it at an availability last week, just saying he loves to be on the practice field. He loves this stuff. And he will be tested by the ups and downs of the season. There's a scenario where this goes poorly, the message doesn't keep delivering, and all the advantages in the world can't change the way an 18 to 23-year-old acts on a Saturday. So Like there is that possibility. But my bold prediction from the CBS Sports ACC preview is that Bill Belichick ends up winning Coach of the Year for a lot of the reasons you just mentioned.
Chip Patterson is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show, as he does every Wednesday. And actually, that's part of the approach, right? We're getting a chance to see inside. Look, I watched the first maybe 25 minutes of part one of that, inside, whatever they're calling it, the Carolina football doc that they did themselves. Is it awesome? No. Right. But it is giving you some, glimpses of Belichick and dealing with the players on the practice field. And because we're starting to see some of that, I think that will further help the recruiting process. Look, we just talked to our friend Joel Bryant from highschoolot.com last week. And Carolina is basically getting like half of the college prospects from Rollsville High School. And that's a lot from the state of North Carolina. That's at least 3 guys who are 4 or 5 star prospects. They are.
That's one of the best teams. I mean, obviously we're speaking on the unprecedented statewide platform, but that Rollsville's one of the best teams in my neck of the woods around the triangle, right?
Yeah, they've got in the junior class. They have 4 of the top 10 players in the state in the junior class, and there's 2. I guess they're twins. I don't remember their names. 2 twins. One's a defensive end. The other is, I'm not sure, linebacker, tight end. Don't know. They're both going to Carolina. So, they have done very well, and I think they'll continue as we see more inside of what they're doing at UNC. I think they're going to do better and better in getting talent. There is no mask for talent. You can be really a very mediocre coach and win a lot of games if you've got ridiculous talent. We have seen that before. Larry Coker won a national championship, should have won 2, but didn't, probably because of a bad referee's call, but don't leave it up to that. And he wasn't a good coach at all. Butch Davis just left him a house.
I think
right?
Yeah. No, I mean, the challenge for this particular team is just that at other schools, particularly SEC schools, some of these, and for this purposes, count Florida State, and you'll understand what I'm saying. At some of these SEC schools, especially the ones that were like big spenders and loaded up on talent, because of the sort of transactional nature of modern football, when seasons didn't go well, the coaching staff had a real problem with keeping the locker room together.
Mm-hmm.
So North Carolina obviously has stepped up its investment, but there's 70 new players that don't have years of experience to fall back on if things go poorly. So an incredible test of coaching at college that probably doesn't happen as much as when guys are coaching for or playing for their next contract. The motivations of an NFL player, getting them to stick together. That is going to be that's going to be a really, really telling sign if they're able to go through those kinds of things.
Yeah, you and I talked about it. I think we addressed it last week. The Florida State just fell apart once it started.
Quit. Yeah, I mean, that's like the quit is the violent term. My colleague Bud Elliott is on he's got a hit list of schools that he's already put on quit watch.
Right.
Where he's like, if things go poorly because of the way the roster's constructed, transactional nature, modern football, coach might get fired. That team might quit last 6 weeks of the season. And so, I don't think North Carolina is at all on quit watch, but I do think that you have to look at that as a skill that Bill Belichick, the college coach, needs to be able to have with his staff that you wouldn't necessarily need in the NFL.
I would say that Florida State hit the quit button in week 4. I don't.
It was awful.
They might have quit on the plane back from Dublin last year.
They quit the Cal game when it was 19-15. Wasn't Cal their only ACC win?
Yes.
Yeah. When that game was looking like that, they were out of the business of caring.
Chip Patterson is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Let me ask you about a couple of other quick things before we let you go. The Virginia Tech put out a slide presentation. It's an internal thing, but it was written about by one of their local reporters about how things that they needed to do to improve their standing in terms of those other elements that would help you earn more money from the league. Television ratings, all the branding things, which go hand in hand. I thought it was interesting that they came to the conclusion that if you win more games, that ultimately you'll do better. Shocking that you needed a report to think about that. But anyway, because I mentioned this to Matt Brown from Extra Points yesterday, we don't have to go back that far. Now, it's more than a decade, to where Virginia Tech essentially built college football on Thursday nights. They were the staple of Thursday night football on ESPN. Or maybe it was ESPN2 at the time. I don't even remember. Now, it's been about a decade since they were any good. And maybe it's a long road back. Maybe Virginia Tech will never get back, like I think about Nebraska. Maybe that's, in some ways, Virginia Tech. But what are your thoughts on where Virginia Tech is as a football brand, and can they get back to it?
I think they have to, because Virginia Tech needs success outside of Frank Beamer, or else it will soon be that the Frank Beamer success was just one spike in an era that was otherwise mediocre. Because the Virginia Tech that you speak of, the program that was regularly in the top 10, hits the ACC in 2004, starts running off ACC title after ACC title.
Yeah.
Never really got back to knocking on the door like they did with Vic playing Florida State, but just so consistently 10-win good for a really long time. But Frank Beamer kind of built that program himself,
Right. And
it was his school, and he was coming back, and he poured everything into it. He was rocking recruiting down in the 757 and building out these rosters of just monsters, and they played a certain way. But now Virginia Tech has struggled to settle into an identity beyond Enter Sandman in terms of being able to get close to feeling that way again. So I think they have to find it, because that, to me, is what makes a culture sticky. That's what makes a brand sticky, is when you hit the peaks with different head coaches in different generations. Because as much as we make fun of Florida State, they lit the world on fire in 2013 on their way to a national championship. And Florida State, Bobby Bowden built that program, right? They needed to win another title, not with Bowden, to really be able to carry this as a culture and as an identity moving forward. Virginia Tech needs to really pop again, and obviously sooner rather than later.
All right, so I said this yesterday as well, and I believe this to be true. You can disagree. It's a free country, at least so far. I think if Miami is great, like if they are 11-win caliber great, I think Miami is that team too. That Miami could be more valuable to the ACC as a television property than Clemson or Florida State or anybody else in the league. That Miami, who has, to me, always been a national brand for football, that Miami, if they could get back to being what they were, I'm not saying that they will, but if they could, I think they could be that team.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the what is it? The viewership slide. It's your Clemson, your Florida State. It's Miami. It's North Carolina. Like then you started to Georgia Tech gets to pop up there because the data they're using includes the Dublin game and the 8 overtime game,
right?
Bulldogs
and the Miami game,
and the Miami game too. So I mean, Georgia Tech obviously showing up pretty high in there, but those are like Miami's one. And by the way, just in terms of like the football of it all, I don't think that Mario Cristobal in that program, as long as he's there, I don't think they're going back to being 5-7 or 6-6 again. I think that it took a couple years for him to really flip that roster, but the way that he recruits, especially along the lines of scrimmage, I I think they're going to be minimum 8 wins basically every single year that he's there, unless the team quits. Obviously, throw that as a disclaimer over all college football commentary.
Unless
for the
they
next 4
quit.
months. Unless the team quits in the transactional nature of modern college football. But I think that Miami, especially as their brand, I think it will improve with no more bad years. And I think that he has built this thing up, and they're going to be a 8, 9, maybe 10-win team most seasons, and then when they have somebody special, maybe take another step.
What do you think they can do this year?
This year, I think they can make the college football playoff.
Okay.
I don't know if they have the team yet to be able to win in the college football playoff. I feel really good that Clemson can win in the college football playoff. I think that Miami will have been tested, obviously, but you just get to the end of the season, and even a team that was good, like an SMU, still didn't have much faith in them being able to go on the road to Penn State and go win that football game. I could see Miami finishing the season. They play Clemson really tight. They get a win against maybe Notre Dame, right, in the opener as Notre Dame's breaking in a new quarterback. That just becomes what they hang their hat on from a rankings and a selection committee perspective. I could 100% see Miami rolling over most of the rest of the teams in the ACC. They get into the college football playoff, but then you're asking them to go win in Columbus, and you're like, "Oh, buddy, this isn't happening. I'm sorry. This is how Ohio State wins right here." So I still see them on the tier of an Ohio State, Penn State, Texas, Clemson. But, man, they are really, really talented, and I do see them as the second-best team in the league.
Are they good enough on – you say you like their recruiting on the lines of scrimmage. Are they good enough on the offensive and defensive line?
On the offensive line, they're awesome this year. Yeah.
Not
really,
as good
really
on the
good.
defensive line.
Defensive line, they got a guy from Louisiana Tech at defensive tackle who other general managers and personnel guys are saying might have been one of the biggest wins in the portal in terms of diamond in the rough. Everybody else, Miami signs a guy from Louisiana Tech. All of the rivals are like, wait, who's that guy? They break down the tape and they're like, crap, we should have been in on him. I think they're doing a pretty good job of restocking. The question is, in the secondary, they've got a lot of portal guys. They need all that to hit. They've got a new defensive coordinator because if you remember, their defense was horrendous last season.
Mm-hmm.
So if the defense on the back end takes a step forward, then, I think that they'll be very, very difficult to beat.
Chip Patterson, Wednesdays in this time slot, impossible to beat. He is Clemson or Georgia. I don't know. Who's going to win the SEC?
I've got Alabama.
Ooh.
I think it's Kalen. Yeah, I think it's Kalen DeBoer's bounce back. I really, really like it. It could be Alabama. It could be Texas. It could be Georgia. It is almost certainly one of those 3 teams when it comes to winning the league. I have sort of decided that one of my not big bets, like with any monetary, but in terms of when you're asked these kinds of questions and when you're going on and you need to have a team that you really do feel good about. You need to know it because you're going to have to explain it a billion times. And I'm all in on Alabama this year. I think they are going to blow the doors off Florida State, and that's just going to kickstart like a oh no kind of feeling for the rest of college football because I think Kalen DeBoer is about to have this thing running hot.
All right, if Alabama has a 9-3 season again, are we going to start saying, man, you know what? Nick Saban, he's just different, even though he is just different. Are we going to have that conversation that Alabama, if they don't have, I know they won a national championship under Gene Stallings,
and Bear,
right?
So they've got Bryant, they've got Stallings, and they've got Saban, and they've got if Kalen DeBoer goes 9-3, it's a Kalen DeBoer problem,
right?
And that means it is legitimately Kalen DeBoer's problem. So, he's in a lot of trouble if they go 9-3. So,
oh my God, it's very Ohio State-like. All right, man, I'll talk to you next week. And next week we will pick our captain's picks for the Ryder Cup.
Did you see what Rory said?
No, I didn't.
Rory said Rory at today's availability
Oh man.
said that he was approached about being a playing captain for Europe in 27, and he declined because he doesn't think it's right for there to be a playing captain.
Good for Rory. Good for Rory. I don't think we'll have a playing captain in this go round.
You think Keegan won't pick himself?
I think Keegan will not pick himself.
Wow.
I don't think it's an automatic. I think a month and a half ago I thought it might be. I don't think it's an automatic.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that'll be fine.
Yeah.
He can't putt. So what do we need Keegan for?
He can still go and be boisterous as the captain.
Exactly. He can be a cheerleader, like he's maybe the best cheerleader. So, and I think that will be good. I think they can put a good side out there without Keegan Bradley. All right, Chip. We'll talk next week.
Sounds good. Y'all be well.
You too. Chip Patterson here on the Adam Gold Show. We have to stretch. We have to place bets. I was this close. This close. We had 3 out of 4. But in wagering, sometimes that's not good enough. Next.
Can help. Find AARP events near you by visiting aarp.org/local. That's aarp.org/local to find both in-person and virtual events. You can also learn more about living your best life by listening to AARP Without Limits, wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Did you know? Atlantic hurricane season runs through November. From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. We're celebrating the 10th anniversary of Healthy People, Healthy Carolinas, a powerful initiative from the Duke Endowment that supports community-based coalitions working together to improve health. In our latest episode, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association, Jordan Fry of Healthy Together Cleveland tells us how HPHC is making a difference in her county.
It means everybody's at the table. Healthcare providers like Atrium Health, the county's health department, our food pantries, our school systems, colleges, cooperative extension, farmers markets, but most importantly, our residents. Everybody has a role to play, and Healthy Together Cleveland acts as the connector.
Learn more and join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, and learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Healthcare?
Why is it so hard?
Healthcare is broken.
At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina, we get it.
Really?
Really.
That's why we're making healthcare better for all, starting with you.
Really?
Really. We're making plans easier to navigate by putting all your benefits, prescriptions, and details on your computer and phone. Convinced?
No, but it's a start.
We'll take it. Blue Cross North Carolina. Making healthcare better for all, starting with you.
Now, all across North Carolina, it's Carolina Newsmakers. Each week, leaders from politics, education, business, and the arts join Don Curtis to share insights and ideas shaping our state. Listen on radio stations throughout North Carolina and on demand at carolinanewsmakers.com. Carolina Newsmakers is presented in part by the North Carolina Academy of Family Physicians, advancing family medicine in North Carolina since 1947.
One Adam Gold. One Adam Gold.
Is he married to a person or just himself? Because I feel like that's very Aaron Rodgery of him to have the twist in there.
It's a very good question.
So, I don't know. We still don't know if it's a person.
Would he get down on one knee to ask himself over an ayahuasca?
Yes.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria on the ones and twos. I can tell you right now, tomorrow on the program, we're going to D.C. Our friend Chick Hernandez is going to check in from Commando Central. Danny Canales will talk college football with us. And Bridget Condon from NFL Network on the program tomorrow.
Who is not named after a football team. Her child.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
That part. Her child is not named after
yes.
Commando or whatever.
Lander.
Yeah.
She was very worried about that.
Yeah.
And it did not work out that way
Poor
because
woman. Yeah.
Washington did not make it to the Super Bowl.
Her husband's a real big fan for people who have no idea what we're talking about.
She was
that was up for debate.
Not so silently rooting against her husband's interests.
Yes.
She did.
Yeah. Felt so bad.
Oh, man. I thought Mando.
Yeah, I think that's what that was one of
no,
them, but she's like, no.
She's like, no.
No.
No. Anyway, she's going to join us tomorrow.
Yeah.
Should we, do we have time to stretch?
Well, the only thing I was really going to talk about in this stretch is that the New Heights podcast, Tay-Tay's going to be on at 7. So, and there's a lot of speculation. Not only is it her 12th album, but will Travis propose? That's the Swifties.
That's not going to happen.
I know.
I
know. That's the rumor mill. So, yeah.
He's not going to propose to her
on the podcast.
On a podcast.
If he didn't do it at the Super Bowl.
Right. Like, maybe he's done it already.
Right.
I don't think so, because I think we'd know.
That's the way they should do it. They should just elope and just one day be like, ta-da.
Or don't. You don't have to get married.
No, they don't have to. Yeah. Not at all.
Let's place bets.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you one.
All right, so I had yesterday. Let me see what I had. I had 4 games, and we won actually 3 of the 4, but we didn't get the overs in the 2 baseball games. Actually, I lost them. I thought the Mets would lose.
Yeah.
But Milwaukee went over 6.5. I went under, but they won 12-0. We had Wrexham, but they needed penalties to win, so draw would have been the play. We had Coventry, though, in the EFL Cup. Anyway, you go. We're almost out of time.
At least my Royals bet won, so that was Royals in the over, so why not go with them again? Give me the Royals, and I'll still take the over 9 plus 175.
So this will probably be the only one we'll do today. Milwaukee, who has now won 11 in a row. I mean, who's going to stop this train? Pittsburgh? They had Paul Skeens on the mound yesterday. They got beat 12-0. So Milwaukee minus a 1.5 is still minus money. If you parlay it with over 7, you can get to plus 184. And that's the play.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey there, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel. You know they're America's #1 sports book, but boy, with the start of the football season coming up, we are going to make it even better. August 26th, 2 weeks from yesterday, FanDuel Futures Day. It is a festival of football inducements for you on America's #1 sportsbook app, a test of your ability to see into the future. Who do you like to win the NFL's MVP award? Who's going to surprise and win their division? How about the Steelers with Aaron Rodgers at plus 500? Who's going to win the Super Bowl? Kansas City, you know, that little plucky team, plus 850. Tuesday, August 26th. Only one day. Get out your Ouija board, crank up the FanDuel app, and be ready for August 26th. FanDuel Futures Day, a festival for all of you football fans. Thanks to FanDuel, play your game. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. We're in the preseason, so me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, are back in the trenches with our podcast, Panthers Playbook. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Panthers news as training camp rolls forward. Insight on the rookies, the fresh free agents and surprises, plus all the insider info on the upcoming season. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
What is your next success story? At University of Maryland Global Campus, you can succeed again with more than 135 affordable online degrees and certificates to help you move your career forward. From cybersecurity and AI to healthcare and MBA, our programs help you build critical thinking, leadership, and communication skills that set you apart in today's job market. Apply now and save with no application fee through September 3rd. Visit umgc.edu to get started. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Lenovo is celebrating 20 years in the Triangle. While a lot has changed, our passion for people and technology hasn't. We're excited for what the next 20 years will bring as we continue to deliver cutting-edge solutions that drive progress, power, and smarter technology for all.
Struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 five-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
They could win 5 games, and they could win 11 games. And I don't think either would be that shocking.
I don't think they can win 11 games.
I just think in an 18-game season.
I don't.
Let's say you take the spectrum of possibilities for the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills, right? Assuming Josh Allen healthy for the whole season, you're probably in the range of 10 to 17 wins. The spectrum of possibilities. Right? Are the Chiefs or the Bills going to win 17 games? Probably not.
Yeah, that was from yesterday's show. Will Brinson, who will join us Monday, by the way. Also, Manny Diaz on Monday. Bubba Cunningham next week.
Ooh, I wonder if Bubba will give us any other, like, clip, like the barking one he gave us.
Oh, that was a while back,
yeah,
about a year ago when he chastised Florida State on this program. Like, just shut up, be a good member of the league. This is not on him, but meanwhile, North Carolina was kind of operating behind the scenes, exploring their own way out. But I would imagine a lot of schools do that, and that's fine. Everybody's looking for the most money. We are going to pose some interesting revenue ideas for Bubba.
Nice.
I think Bubba should sell advertising on Bubba.
He should.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe on his jacket.
Yeah, why not? Put it on there. His collar.
Or like the lapel.
Right. Yes.
Oh yeah, that would be prime placement for an ad for, I don't know, home cleaning supplies. All right, we got a ton of things to do. Coming up in just a little bit, Carrie Bolley, who is normally on Wednesdays we talk to Sean Nahas, and last Wednesday we did. And
that was the last Wednesday.
3 hours? 4 hours?
Maybe, yeah.
We talked to him at about 2:30. So about 4 hours after we talked to Sean Nahas.
Mm-hmm.
Boom!
Yeah.
Get out!
Yeah.
Anyway, Carrie Bolley, who is the director, sporting director and chief soccer officer for North Carolina Courage and North Carolina FC. He will join us in less than 15 minutes. All right, you know what it's time for? Wall of Sound.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
All right, so you're looking for ways that North Carolina has entered into the future of college football, right? And you think, well, Bill Belichick's this, really smart coach, and he's got all the things they do in the pro game and all of, this is what's going to take UNC into the future. College football is becoming more and more like the NFL. And sometimes you realize that maybe the future doesn't necessarily mean football. Sometimes it's also alternative methods of training and recovery. Apparently, one of the reporters got wind that North Carolina had incorporated yoga into the routine, like sort of a departure from last year. Here you go.
Look, with all due respect, I'm not sure exactly what was or wasn't done here last year in all the different areas. Yoga is a recovery technique. It's not really a training technique. We use it more for recovery, and there are a lot of benefits to it. And certainly, it's a good way after a couple of 3-4 days of hard practices to give the body a chance to recover, stretch, get the blood flowing, and so forth. So that's really what it's used for. I can't honestly comment too much on what happened when I wasn't here.
Yeah. Well, how has that improved or sped up the recovery process for the guys?
Yeah, it's part of the recovery process. We do a lot of things for recovery, obviously food, nutrition, hydration, sleep, treatment, soft tissue massage, contrast tubs, yoga, foam rollers, stretching, those kind of things. I just rattled off probably a dozen of them or whatever. So there's a lot of things that we do. They're all part of it. Some guys use some more than others depending on what they're trying to accomplish. So it's a comprehensive program. It's not just based on one thing. But the yoga sessions are a part of it.
I'm a fan, by the way. Yoga's great.
Yeah.
Have you done yoga?
Yes. I was more of a Pilates person, but yoga's very good.
Yoga's awesome. And it's very difficult to convince young people. Am I talking directly to my son right now?
Probably.
That you'd be surprised how it builds strength.
Yeah.
How it improves, obviously, for various reasons, flexibility. Yoga's awesome.
I'll tell you, if you've never done it before, the first time you do it, you'll learn muscles you didn't know you had. Like you'll be sore in places and you're like, whoa, I didn't know that was possible.
Not going to lie, when I first took a yoga class, this is before my wife and I met, so no big deal here. First time I took a yoga class is just because I was interested in the instructor.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, hey.
I that didn't go anywhere.
Whatever
She was not interested in the participant at all. But when I started doing it, like you get into essentially a lunge and you stay there.
Mm-hmm.
About an hour later, you get out of the lunge.
Which feels like 10 days.
Done. Completely done.
It's like when you do a plank. Even if it's only a minute, feels like 20.
Projectile perspiration. That's what yoga was. A big fan. All right. Also a big fan. Everybody loves Red Zone, which is now owned by ESPN. They're going to present NFL Red Zone. Scott Hansen, who does that, was a guest on the Rich Eisen show, which is now also part of the ESPN radio family, and wondered if a college football Red Zone would work.
There's a lot of different dynamics. If you were to do a college football Red Zone, okay, first of all, ESPN doesn't have the rights to every conference. Right. And second of all, the kickoffs are not all synchronized. Yeah, you get a good batch kicking off at noon Eastern, but they're not all synchronized. They come at different times. The games go throughout the day. And then here's the other thing. If your favorite team is the New York Giants, fine, you know the New York Giants. You can probably still name the other 31 starting quarterbacks in the NFL. If your favorite team is the Alabama Crimson Tide, you probably know the Alabama Crimson Tide, but you can't name me 30 other quarterbacks in college football. You might be able to name the rest of the SEC maybe, or maybe some of the big opponents, but so it's not, college is not quite as accessible to the frontal lobe of the American sports fan as it is in the NFL.
Scott Hansen thinks we're dumb. Look, the first thing he said is the reason why there won't be an NFL Red Zone is because ESPN can't show the Big Ten games that are on Fox or any of the other games unless you got permission from Fox to use them in highlights, and I'm not sure they would. But I'm also here to say that I think ESPN tried this a long time ago. It would be successful. It would be hugely successful if ESPN could get rights to show games that are not on their family of networks. One more thing. And remember at the very beginning of the show, Rusty set up a Met highlight of Pete Alonso becoming the all-time home run leader for the Mets. Gary Cohen on SNY does it the best.
So Alonso leads off the second with the Mets' first hit of the game. And Pete drives one to deep right center field, headed back toward the wall. It's out of here! Out of here! Pete Alonso stands alone! The polar bear on his own private iceberg.
What?
Pete Alonso, the most prolific home run hitter in New York Mets history. 253 home runs, more than any Met has ever hit in the blue and orange. Pete Alonso breaks Daryl's mark. Look at that smile. And he drives this one to deep center field. Harris goes back, takes a look, and that one's out of here. Pete Alonso adds another to his record. 254, his second of the night. It's 11-5.
Hey, what's up, Pete? Darryl Strawberry here. I just want to say congratulations on breaking the home run record. Listen, you have worked hard. You have stood up in the pressure of New York City, and you have played well. It is well-deserved. You are a homegrown player. And again, congratulations and continue to have great success. All the best, buddy.
Darryl Strawberry. Gosh, my guy. Love Darryl so much. So Pete Alonso, the all-time Mets leader in home runs as a Met. Strawberry, he has said recently that his biggest regret was leaving. He left the Mets, signed a free agent contract with the Dodgers. I think went after that to the Giants, and actually kind of revived his career at the end with the Yankees. But, yeah, Strawberry should have been a Met forever.
Yeah, it's hard for MLB, so hard for people to stay loyal. But that's because of money.
Yeah, it's also when your organization is dysfunctional, as the Mets were. I don't think they are dysfunctional anymore, but they were certainly.
Yeah. Like
that-
Skeens if you want to come to the Cubs.
Oh, Paul Skeens and O'Neal Cruz.
Yeah.
Those guys will be on different teams within 2 years.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because Pirates don't care.
No.
They don't want to. They're not interested in winning.
No.
Make me think back on our conversation with Mike DeCourcy.
They got Aaron
last
Rodgers
week.
up there now.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what they care about.
Rodgers and Sidney Crosby.
Yep. That's it.
Anyway, teams that trying to win and teams that are not trying to win.
Yes.
When we come back, Carrie Bolley, who is the chief soccer officer from the North Carolina Courage, joins us next.
From the heels
Touchdown, Carolina.
to the canes,
She scores!
he covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
For all of the hype surrounding Bryce Young and the Panthers offense, I am officially filing a worry, a concern about the Panthers defense. I can't look at the depth chart or the projected starting lineup and find a single starter on defense that I think the Panthers could survive an injury to. And you know it's gonna happen somewhere.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
If you are beyond ready for the weekend and in need for some motorcycle therapy, you're in luck because we're halfway there. I'm Victoria Vodenecker here from 99.9 The Fan for Law Tigers, and sometimes Wednesdays are just the toughest days of the week. But maybe you've been thinking about that ride to the beach this weekend or maybe up to the mountains and checking off that to-do list as we get closer. While you're checking off that list, it's always smart to keep in mind what could happen while you're on the road. If you're ever in an accident on your motorcycle, make sure to call Law Tigers first before calling your insurance company. At Law Tigers, they're riders too, so they get it. They know the value of your bike and your gear and the investment that you've made. They know what it's like to go through an accident, and case evaluations are always going to be free, so you're not going to pay a dime until your case is settled. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Looking for a big new game to play? Well, there's no game bigger than the new dino-sized Jurassic Park scratch-off from the North Carolina Education Lottery, which gives you a chance to win up to $200,000 instantly. And if that weren't enough, you can enter for a chance to win an exciting trip to beautiful Hawaii, where you could win up to $1 million. Welcome to Jurassic Park. Adventure awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 4.28. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 bird dogs for just $5 or 2 bird dog combo for just $8.25. Available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Join Team Phenomenal Hope for a 5K run walk to raise awareness about pulmonary hypertension, which affects over 100,000 in our state alone. This family-friendly run walk is Sunday, November 2nd at 9:30 a.m. at River Park in Hillsboro. It's free to attend. Enjoy music, games, water, snacks, and hear PH Warriors share their stories. Register now at phwalknc.org. All funds raised will go towards research for a cure and direct financial assistance for patients. That's phwalknc.org.
Some things can steal your sunshine.
Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This is is Adam Gold.
80-second mark, I scream in the booth. I screamed in the booth. Why the heck is he still on the ice?
Did you say it in Finnish?
I should have.
Yes.
No, he wouldn't. He curses in English.
He does.
All right, 2 seconds later, he scored.
Yes.
And I went,
you.
oh, that's why. That's why.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Everybody's pointing towards Taylor Swift on the New Heights podcast tonight, 7 o'clock. It'll go live. Actually,
Right.
It's not live. The episode will drop on YouTube, and then it'll be available wherever you get your podcasts, I guess, tomorrow. It'll be my first time, honestly, listening to the podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, I've listened to clips of it, but...
Oh, I also forgot to mention, too, during the quickest seventh inning ever, that it's also the 13th, and that's her favorite number. So I think that's also why they're waiting till today.
All right. I'm not into the numerology.
I know.
It has been a week for the North Carolina Courage. NC Courage. Carrie Bolley is the chief soccer officer, sporting director for NC Courage and North Carolina FC, and he joins us on the Adam Gold Show. You and I, we spoke a few months ago. I think you were overseas at the time. Obviously, you didn't anticipate being here at this point. And I know you had a media availability a week ago, and I'm not going to belabor the point, but I'm curious. I listened to part of it. Was this your decision? Did you come to this decision to part ways with Sean Nahas on your own, or was it a collaborative effort?
First, thank you for having me, Adam. Yeah, we did speak a couple of months ago. I was in Barcelona at the time. And obviously, thank you for having me again. I think it's been a tough week. There's no getting away from that. These situations are never nice situations to be in. Unfortunately, I've been on both sides of the fence with them, so I've got to feel it on both sides, and they're never easy. And I think the best way I can answer is a club decision that we came to this situation. And as I say, not an easy decision to take for sure, but one that was felt was needed for the future direction of where this club is going and needs to go. And as a result, the decision was taken as it was last week.
I mean, I just remember my reaction. Carrie Bolley, North Carolina Courage chief soccer officer, and we spoke to Sean, right, like 1 week ago right now. We're having a conversation with him. We're joking around about certain things, and then I see the news later on. How did the team deal with it?
I think it's obviously difficult, right? It's difficult for everybody, so there's no hiding from that, and the impact will be felt by players. That's natural. Anytime that there's a change in leadership or a change within the environment, there's going to be an impact that's felt. But I would say, we're super grateful for the way that the players stuck together. They are really professional in the way that they try to go about their business every week. And I think you could see that, although obviously we didn't get the result away in Houston, but you could see from the performance that the players tried to apply themselves in the best way possible. They put in a really good performance. And I thought very unfortunate not to get something, at least a point out of the game. So, yeah, difficult, but, we trust the players that we've got. They're a great bunch of people and professional in what they do every day. So they've tried to get on with the kind of task in hand to the best of their ability, despite obviously everyone understanding that they're different and difficult circumstances.
Carrie Bolley is joining us here from the North Carolina Courage here on the Adam Gold Show. I know you're going to do a national search. I'm going to guess that you have at least started to do that. What is the aim for the organization here?
Well, I think what we need to do is we need to understand what it is that we want the profile of the coach to be, and naturally then that means an internal and an external search to really understand what's available in the market. Of course, you will not be surprised to know that there are people that have reached out immediately when a vacancy becomes available. But being completely honest with you, this is now really the start of that process, because when you're in, there's a difference between planning for something and then obviously taking action, and as a result, then needing to go through the processes that we've been through internally with a game very quick turnaround from the decision into playing, and so that's been the main focus, and wanted to direct everything towards trying to help the staff and the players. Now is the time where we're at the start of that search, and for us it'll be driven by what are the main characteristics of the profile that we want. There are things that won't change. The way that this club plays the game will not change. The style of play will remain. So there are some consistencies there. But yeah, we need to understand whether it ends up being internal or external, the decision that we make to bring somebody in, on a full-time basis, that we need to make sure we know what we're looking for. And as a result of that, we need to be really clear on what the profile is and what the future direction of the club is in order to get the best result.
Carrie Bolley, NC Courage Chief Soccer Officer, is joining us here in the Adam Gold Show. Just so I'm clear, when you say the style will not change, are we talking about for the balance of this season under Nathan Thackeray or in future seasons? So, like, the way this team plays now is the way this team is going to play in the future?
Yeah, I think in terms of the general philosophy or the game style that you see on the pitch, like if you look at any of my background, you'll know where I've come from. So City Football Group, this was our style of play.
Okay.
And I said in my press conference, this was a big reason for why I wanted to come to North Carolina Courage, and that remains now. So what I would say going forward is that there will be a club philosophy and methodology, and that's what we will recruit to in the way that we'll work, because the identity of the club is really important. And part of my role as the kind of gatekeeper, if you like, of soccer operations currently is to make sure that after my time at the club that we're in a better place than what we were when I started. And one of those key things is that we have an identity and a way of working that everybody's clear on. And that allows us to be clear on what we're looking for. And then as a result, the purpose that goes into every day to get the results on the pitch, from recruiting players to developing players, all of that has to be aligned. And to be aligned, you need to have a real clear identity to start with, and a way of looking at the game, a mental model, if you like, for how you look at the game.
Are you going to call Pep Guardiola? You never know.
It could be a short call.
Maybe he'll take the call. He'll like, "Hey, Carrie, how you doing?" What? I don't know.
Yeah. I would say the part of going through the search doesn't really concern me too much, because I've obviously been through these processes a lot when I was at CFG. It was part of my role. But naturally, the circumstances under which you're doing it are slightly different at the moment compared to where they were when I was on a group level. So having to go through a process doesn't concern me. It's just making sure now that we take the right steps, and we won't rush. We'll make sure we do the right thing for this season and beyond at the club, and that's the intentions moving forward.
And by the way, home match coming up Saturday night against the Portland Thorns. They're always good. They're good again this year. So a big match coming up, especially coming off the loss at Houston. I watched late on the late goal to take nothing in terms of points away from it. What was your takeaway? I know you said earlier that you thought that they played very well, and they did on the road in Houston. What are your thoughts on just how it happened and how they sort of bounced back from the result?
Yeah, I think it's, as always in this game, fine margins account for big outcomes. And, the point was lost, if you want to call it that, through fine margins in the way that we performed the other night. I don't think the overall performance was a bad one. I think it was a positive one. But obviously key moments in the game will change the game, if you like. And unfortunately, the 2 goals we gave away have both come from us in possession to start with. So that's something that we need to be more careful with, and we need to make sure that we take care of our own business in that way. When you look ahead to Portland, they're always a strong side. They're showing, again, with their performance on this past weekend, how good they can be. And it's going to be a tough game, but what we take great confidence from is we love to play at home. We love to play in front of our own fans, and we know that they'll turn out for us, and they'll give us all the support that they always do. And so far this season, home form has been really good, and we want to look to try to continue that. It's going to be a tough game, but our focus is fully on what we want to be and what we want to look like on the pitch. with being respectful to what we know we're going to face as opponents. But it's now looking forward, and as I say, looking forward to playing in front of our own fans again, and hopefully get back to winning ways.
Two very quick things, then we'll let Carrie Bolley go. The first is do you anticipate changes to the way the team, like the personnel the team uses? Obviously, same style, but do you anticipate changes to who plays more than was playing before?
I think I've always been clear as a sporting director. It's not my decision to pick the team, and I will maintain that stance throughout any club that I work. The coaching staff are there to pick the team. I never got involved in those decisions when Sean was head coach, and I won't do that regardless of who's head coach. So we have a squad of players that can be relied upon, that can all come in and step in and do the job that we want them to do. And the role of the coaching staff is to pick the right players for each game that they think can go and get a result. So that won't be my decision. My decision is to support them and continually provide the best environment we can. And then their role is to pick the team to go and win games.
All right, final question. Nathan Thackeray was the caretaker coach during Sean's absence for illness. He is the caretaker coach today. My guess is it'll be for the balance of the season. Where is he on your list of potential candidates to get the job on a whatever is called permanent basis?
Yeah, I anticipated you might ask that question. And I'll be totally honest, though, the conversations that we have need to be between myself and Nathan at this moment in time to really understand the situation fully and where we are. And I wouldn't want to communicate anything outside of that without having enough of those conversations with Nathan at the minute to understand what his intentions and what his desires even are. So I think there's a lot of conversations that we need to have in private, and then when the time is right, I suppose it'll come to light where we might lean in that situation.
Carrie Bolley, North Carolina Courage, Chief Soccer Officer, Sporting Director. Good luck against the Portland Thorns at WakeMed Soccer Park coming up on Saturday. We will talk to you again soon, sir.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
You got it. Thank you. Carrie Bolley here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, we got to I wasn't going to go into it. Like, they had the press conference last week, right? A week ago, tomorrow. The day after Sean Nahas was, fired. You can't even say let go, or it wasn't a mutual parting of ways. And it wasn't about performance, because that would have happened earlier in the week. But yeah, they really haven't given off this is why it happened. It would be easier if it was about performance, but it's obviously not about performance. I wish them well going forward. I hope they beat Portland coming up on Saturday. Then I hope they go to Chicago, beat the Stars. And then they're in Kansas City against the Current, who they're the Milwaukee Brewers of the NWSL, if I am not mistaken. The Kansas City Current right now are 13 wins, 2 losses, and they have 32 goals scored in 15 matches. They have allowed just 10. That should be a fun trip. All right, when we come back, we will rewind. We'll talk about, Carolina football. And and Jessica Sharman will also join us. Forgot about Jess Talks Footy. That'll be a little bit later, but we will talk because the Premier League starts coming up. But also, Major League Soccer has had a very good summer and continues to get better with Young-Min Son here, Thomas Muller in Vancouver. See if it's catching on. Next.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
As the health director in Haywood County and a nurse here in North Carolina, I can tell you that the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline saves lives.
No matter your struggle, you are not alone. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is free, private, and always available.
988 Lifeline counselors are ready 24/7 to speak with you, help you cope, and get you connected to the support that is right for you.
988, the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
Call, text, or chat 988 24/7. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
North Carolina ranks second in the nation in potential agricultural land lost by the year 2040. The NC Forever Farms program supports the preservation of family farms through permanent agricultural conservation easements and has received a record number of applications for 3 straight years. Landowners interested in preserving their working farm through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services can learn more by visiting ncadfp.org. Make this your best summer yet by having fun while staying active and engaged. AARP can help. Find AARP events near you by visiting aarp.org/local. That's aarp.org/local to find both in-person and virtual events. You can also learn more about living your best life by listening to AARP Without Limits, wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Did you know? Atlantic hurricane season runs through November. From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. We're celebrating the 10th anniversary of Healthy People, Healthy Carolinas, a powerful initiative from the Duke Endowment that supports community-based coalitions working together to improve health. In our latest episode, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association, Jordan Fry of Healthy Together Cleveland tells us how HPHC is making a difference in her county.
It means everybody's at the table. Healthcare providers like Atrium Health, the county's health department, our food pantries, our school systems, colleges, cooperative extension, farmers markets, but most importantly, our residents. Everybody has a role to play, and Healthy Together Cleveland acts as the connector.
Learn more and join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Healthcare? Why?
Why is it so hard?
Healthcare is broken.
At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina, we get it.
Really?
Really. That's why we're making healthcare better for all, starting with you.
Really?
Really. We're making plans easier to navigate by putting all your benefits, prescriptions, and details on your computer and phone. Convinced?
No, but it's a start.
We'll take it. Blue Cross North Carolina, making healthcare better for all, starting with you.
Why choose a family physician? Because they provide healthcare expertise for the entire family, care for acute and chronic disease, treat all ages, and most importantly, keep you healthy. In fact, adults with a family physician have lower healthcare costs, better health outcomes, and are hospitalized less frequently. Family physicians, your trusted healthcare advisor for you and your family for life. Brought to you by the NC Academy of Family Physicians.
This is Adam Gold.
I did love that Rod video with him, though, when he was trying to communicate.
Yeah, you speak hockey.
And he was like, it's okay, you don't need to know this, you know hockey. And I was like, oh, heartstrings. It's fantastic.
Yeah, no, it was awesome.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Our friend Jessica Charma is going to join us in just a little bit. She's part of the MLS. She used to do color with Will Palashik on Charlotte FC games. Now she's play-by-play for Apple's coverage of Major League Soccer. It's one of the great, fast-rising media stars. right now in the United States. Couple of quick things. I wanted to talk a little bit about football. I want to go through some Bill Belichick things, and then we'll get to Jessica. But before we do that, NC State released their non-conference basketball schedule. And Will Wade, the new head coach, look, there are a lot of ways in which Will Wade is going to be different from Kevin Keatts, from Mark Gottfried, from Sidney Lowe, from Herb Sendek, from the long line of NC State head coaches. There are a lot of ways, and I don't have to get into all of them. But to me, what I just saw is the most noticeable way that he is drastically different. The non-conference schedule is loaded. Loaded. If you're an NC State fan, how many years have you looked at your non-conference schedule and gone, well, we should win a lot of those games? I don't know how many games they're going to win in the non-conference. I'm not saying they won't do really well. I'm not saying they're going to be great. Starts off with a game against NC Central at home. UAB comes in. UNC Greensboro. VCU. That's one of those games that you go, yeah, we'll play them in a tournament, but I don't know if we want to bring them here. Then they're playing in the Maui Invitational. Play Seton Hall for the first game. Could get USC or Boise State, both of which should be pretty good. In the second match, Arizona State, Texas, Washington, Chaminade. You don't want to play Chaminade because it's a wasted game. It's a Division II team. Auburn in the ACC SEC Challenge. UNC Asheville. Liberty. Kansas. Texas Southern, that's a game at Reynolds Coliseum. Ole Miss, they're playing in Greensboro. This will make some of the old heads happy. That is an incredible schedule. Good on you, Will. I love to see it in basketball. Love to see it. It can only help them. My thoughts about non-conference scheduling in basketball and non-conference scheduling in football, drastically different because the sports are. You actually do get rewarded for a good schedule in basketball. There is no mechanism to do that in football. None. Big ups to what Will Wade and company have done with the schedule, the non-conference schedule at NC State. I am looking forward to watching. Not only are the personnel looks legitimately good, but the schedule will make them better. Absolutely love everything about that. All right, before we get to Jessica, Bill Belichick, I believe, will be successful. I have 5 reasons why I think that this year will be a good one in terms of record. We have no idea just how good, really, UNC is going to be as a team. If you look at their 2 deep, or they're especially on the defensive side of the ball, so many new faces. There's like 6 or 7 players total in the 2 deep on defense that were here last year. Bill said at the press conference today, 40 players that were not here in the spring are here right now. That's a lot. So we don't know what it's going to look like. But I have 5 reasons why I think they will be at least have a good record this year. Schedule is conducive to having a good record. Like, I think they would have to underachieve to win fewer than 8 games. No joke. So could they win 9? Could they win 10? Yeah, I think they could. I think the pro approach that they take to everything, how they treat the players, the nutrition, the way Belichick runs a program. He has said, he let us in on this fact before he even took the job. that he believes he has a plan that a college program should run like a pathway to the NFL. So everything they do is about maximizing the players in terms of their ability to get to the next level or to get to the next level in whatever it is they want to do. He did talk about academics today. But I think the more we see into it and this, self-produced documentary into UNC football, I think is going to make them even more attractive to recruits. I think you're going to get automatic buy-in from every player, and every recruit will see it and go, that's the guy that can get me better to be where I want to be. And then there are two other elements. Game planning during the week. I think Belichick is as good at that as I have ever seen in professional football. He doesn't care what his team, he will do whatever it takes to win that game. Like some teams we're throwing. Well, the other team is really good at that and you can run all day on them. No, we're throwing. Bill will run it 60 times or throw it 60 times. It does not matter to him. And I think during the game, on game day, Bill will probably win you more games than other coaches will win for their teams. That's why I think Carolina will have a good, really good year. She used to be with our guy Will Palashik, who we talked to Willie P-Style yesterday. He says, hello, by the way. Jessica Charman. Jess Talks Footy on Twitter. Let's see. Play It In on Sirius XM. She does that. MLS Season Pass. She just did the Club World Cup for DAZN and TNT. I don't know how we got it. I watched it on TNT. So I heard Jessica Jarman. How are you? You have been riding a wave of late. Are you doing all right?
Sometimes I feel like I'm a little bit underneath the wave and trying to tread water. But the good thing is that my mum started me in swimming lessons at a really young age. So somehow I'm remembering how to kick my feet and remembering how, this is the sort of thing that someone in this business dreams of having, sort of a summer where you blow up and your phone won't stop ringing with bookings. So I count myself as extremely lucky, but also wanting to make sure I give everything, no matter what game it is, my same amount of preparation, which isn't always easy. But very happy. And the good news for Willie P is he might get to see me sometime in September based on my schedule. So I'll leave that little hint there, Willie P.
That is good news for Will Palashik. Jessica Charman is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. So many things I wanted to talk to you about, but yesterday we do a segment on the show called One-Timers. And normally, because I cover the Hurricanes, there's a lot of hockey questions, some questions about football, but yesterday I got a question about Wrexham in the championship, and somebody who wanted to know, and somebody who wanted to know what my top 4 was for the Premier League this year. And I said, I'm expanding it to top 5 because for the most part, the Premier League is going to put 5 teams in Champions League every year. This year it's 6 because of what happened with Europa. Good luck, Tottenham. I don't fancy your chances to get to the knockout round. But before we get to anything like that, what do you make of Americans' interest and how it's growing in the international game? Because it's not necessarily just the Premier League. It's European football. Maybe it's Liga MX. Maybe based on what we saw this summer, maybe it'll be the Brazilian League, which was all 4 teams advanced in the Club World Cup.
Well, firstly, I love the American investment in the English game because my team, Reading Football Club, just got bought by an American owner. So I'm very thankful to the American that saved my club's existence. I think that as long as it's done in a balance with supporting your domestic league, then that's great. And look, I understand there's a lot of people that will say, well, I was a soccer fan before my area got an MLS club. I get that completely. But I think it's really dangerous for the U.S. growth of the game if people only watch European soccer and don't give Major League Soccer a chance. And I think my most interesting part of this topic of conversation when people ask me is like, where does Major League Soccer rank when compared to European or English teams? And for me, I always say I think there are MLS teams that would do very well in the English Championship. That's where Wrexham's playing right now. Yep. And then there's also MLS teams that would really struggle in League One. So it really depends. But when you're seeing players like we've seen, let's talk about Son coming into the league, that suddenly makes LAFC a team that signings they've had. Giroud was there for a while, all of these big players. Maybe you start to think that, okay, there are teams that are in Major League Soccer that compete at the highest level. And you saw that with Club World Cup with LAFC kind of playing in that tournament and not doing too badly.
No, and, Inter Miami advanced to the knockout round. PSG basically toyed with them for 30 minutes and then took their foot off the gas. But you had Gareth Bale, right, a couple of years ago playing the last half of the year. I think it was LAFC. We had Beckham. Right? We had Beckham with the LA Galaxy a long time ago. And remember, the Galaxy came here to Raleigh to play the Carolina Railhawks. Beckham didn't never got on a plane. He was never going to. But I think the third year, I think Landon Donovan at least made the trip. Again, I don't think he got onto the pitch. But so there has been the big star name, and Messi brought his friends to Inter Miami. Does the league need more of that to survive?
Ooh, I think what the league needs more of is people making a decision earlier on in their career. And as much as Son was at Tottenham for like 10 years, he's still at the level of his career where I wouldn't call him a retirement player. The biggest issue that I think Major League Soccer had is, and this is someone that grew up in England during that David Beckham era, was that the stereotype was, well, MLS is where big stars go to get a paycheck. It's where they go to, lay back, live by the beach, which I think is part of the reason why Charlotte struggles to get those big name signings in, because it's not necessarily a marquee city for Europeans. I'm someone that's fallen in love with the city, but it's not going to be somewhere that your big name star maybe circles as where they want to finish out their career. Where I think MLS needs to attract players is 27, 28, 29-year-olds that have had a very good career but want to continue to boost their career versus falling into the trap of always looking for 34, 35-year-olds that are going to surf one league, sell some jerseys, make a good paycheck, because then you have the danger of falling into that retirement league trap again, which I think the U.S. wants to really try and avoid.
Oh, we have Wilfred Zaha at Charlotte FC. Tim Ream came back, but of course, you could even call it a retirement league for Tim Ream. Although,
no, be good. He's still the U.S. men's national team captain.
I know. Well,
he winds back the clock every day. I'll tell you, I was the first. If you'd have seen my face when it said Charlotte was signing Tim Ream, I did a bit of one of those like stank faces. My nose kind of went up, but I got to give him credit. Under Poch, and it's not been pretty under Poch, he's been one of the players that's been consistent, and he winds back the clock. But Wilfred Zaha, I was also a little bit like, Wilfred, good fit for club culture, not too sure. I think he's shown that he's passionate and maybe has shown a little bit of where I had that concern from. But he is so effective. And what was it now? 9 games with a straight goal contribution. Yep. Durham Canales got to get a pat on the back for getting Wilfred Zaha over here.
I agree, Zaha, and he was at Crystal Palace when I first started getting into the Premier League, and man, he was one of those guys you couldn't take your eyes off. Then he went to, I think it was Galatasaray for a couple of years, and now at Charlotte FC. And you're right, he has been playing really well of late. Where would you rank? I know what the Opta stats say. Where would you put Major League Soccer on the list of, if we were ranking professional leagues around the world?
Oh, that's tough. Well, I think above Liga MX just based on Leagues Cup, which isn't a fair comparison.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people get up in arms about that because Liga MX is only just starting their season.
Right.
MLS is already in their Leagues Cup, by the way. What an interesting tournament that is. I still am struggling to understand the concept of only 4 people going out from each team and how it just let's look at that for next year and see how that can be a little bit more better to get the best teams forward. I would say that interesting about MLS is there are so many more teams in this league, and the gap between the best and the worst is so large that it makes it a lot more complicated to compare to other leagues. It's obviously below Premier League. It's obviously below Bundesliga, probably below the French league, as we saw with PSG. But what's interesting is when you look at France as well, they've got a lot of big differences between the top and the bottom. So I would say top 7, 8 leagues maybe, but you've still got teams that are the best in MLS that could compete. So that's why I think a league like Club World Cup, or a tournament rather like Club World Cup with the expanded version, I'm an advocate for it because it does open people's eyes to Major League Soccer and the fact that they can hang.
It was interesting for me, and I don't want to keep you too much longer. I went into Club World Cup knowing that I would enjoy some of the matches because of the teams involved. But ultimately, for me, it was a FIFA money grab. And
sure.
It's all it was. Most of the clubs, especially the big European clubs, were not interested early because why are we spending a summer doing this? It was, if you were in it, like PSG was in it for the duration, as was Chelsea, that's your summer. All of your players had been playing since, basically the beginning of last August all the way through June. That is a long, long year, and it will take its toll. And then FIFA decided to just bribe them, essentially, by giving them so much more money, and they all went, well, guess we got to go.
It's funny how people are advocates for player safety and player, rest, and then all of a sudden they dangle these millions of dollars in front of them, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, they can make it for a few more games. I think that also playing in the U.S., a lot of travel, a lot of differences there with the conditions. We saw some issues that I think are going to have to find. And lightning and delays. Does that not have you scratching your head about how World Cup's going to go? Because let's be honest here, one of the only stadiums with the roof is Atlanta. So I'm a little nervous about the weather conditions because we know as people that live in the South during the summer, those thunderstorms are ridiculous. But I do think that in the end, the tournament had a lot more to it than maybe we expected. There were heartfelt stories. I mean, Auckland City tying with Boca Juniors is still one of my most favorite moments of that entire tournament. The fact that an amateur team with plumbers, teachers, people that had to literally lie to their bosses to get time off work probably were able to draw against Boca Juniors was amazing. The Brazilian teams, how exciting that was. And I was really lucky to get to commentate some of the matches that had Al Hilal, Esperance de Tunis, and their fan bases were incredible. Flamengo, their fan bases were incredible. And getting to see stadiums packed with all these different cultures, I just think that was an amazing experience for American football, and it was quite a warm-up perhaps to what we're going to see in 2026. And I don't know about you, but I'm counting down the days. I think it's going to be amazing.
I am, I've always been a fan of big events. I've always loved the World Cup, but now that I'm a legit fan of the sport and can watch just about any teams play, I am even more excited for what's going to happen next summer. I hope that we will be able to listen to Jess Talks Footy during that, but I have your number, so we're going to talk more as we get closer. Good luck with everything, and I can't wait to talk again the next time.
Well, thank you. I am always here, and I think we'll be able to set some time up in September to talk about something closer to the community here in the Carolinas. So thank you so much for your time.
Should be fun. Next summer is going to be great. Again, I'm not going to slam the Club World Cup. We got about 90 seconds left here, even a little bit less. I'm still blown away by the NC State men's basketball schedule I saw. More games against, let's just say it this way, more losable games than automatic wins in the non-conference schedule. And the other element that I like, and I've said this before about football, I like the fact that there are, in many cases, local schools. UNC Asheville, UNCG, NC Central, all on the home schedule. I think that's good for the state. I could not be more thrilled with what I have seen from Will Wade. To me, obviously, the recruiting and the buzz around that program are going to that says a ton. But now he is saying, all right, we're going to put this team in harm's way. That is awesome. State fans should be pumped for the schedule. Hey, I dig the game in Greensboro. You don't want to take it too far away from your fans, but we can go to Greensboro. It's not that far. Love it. Absolutely great schedule. That is awesome. All right, big stuff tomorrow as well. Bye.
Making more sports sense than social media trolls. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here for my friends at X Golf in Cary. Date night blahs, you were thinking about dinner and a movie? Nah. X Golf, great atmosphere, superb bar menu, incredible staff, a really cool vibe, and the best golf simulator in North Carolina.